Yeah.
Yeah, this episode's really fun. I like you mentioned that we get introduced to the pirates for the first time. I like them in like having pirates in this world and really like introducing them. And they're such interesting characters. Like
It
all
is
of
very
them,
interesting.
they're really I just love seeing them show up. But we'll get to them whenever they actually, make an appearance. So the episode starts. We
Mhm.
have again the gang flying through these mountains and as you were saying, like the red pine trees, which just look gorgeous. Like the opening for these
Yes.
episodes is always so stunning. Like they just start out and you're like, oh, this is incredible. I love seeing this.
We're like, oh, we're like in a really cool spot right now.
Yeah.
They're gorgeous. I
Uh
love the trees. They're red. What are they called? Red Chinese pines? Chinese red pines, I think,
yeah, I believe so.
is what
And
we
it's just
see.
like
And
it looks great. It looks so nice.
yeah. And
And
we're on
like
these
also
mountains that are inspired by the Zhangjiajie Mountains, Pillar Mountains in China. Don't know
mhm,
if I said this right, but if you know the Avatar, the blue people, that's what the floating mountains and the floating rocks are inspired by
that makes a lot of
as well.
sense, actually.
Yeah.
Can definitely, yeah, okay, I can see that.
Now you
Yeah.
see it. Yeah.
Yeah. Both avatars taking a lot of inspiration. We respect it.
We
Um,
respect it.
I love that this episode opens with Aang freaking out, basically. Like he just will not stop
Yes.
pacing on Appa because he's like, I have to master all of the elements in like 3 months. Like this is not I can't do this. And so that's a really great like character thing. You see it very much like weighing on him. Again, it's
Hmm.
a continued escalation of him feeling
Yeah.
the weight of his responsibilities, and now there's like a ticking clock on it, and he is very stressed about that. I
And I like
also
too that even if this episode isn't focused on the main plot, they are still having that in there. They're still having the
yeah,
main plot dripped in there and they're still affected by it just because we're not doing something that's mainly connected to it. We're still affected by it.
yeah, it's still you still feel that driving force
Yeah.
behind all the characters and what they're doing. Also, Sokka's joke that he mastered air in 112 years. I'm sure he can master three more by summer is great. Yeah, that's a great joke. And
So
also
unhelpful.
I
Love
love
him.
him being like, stop pacing. Like, if we hit a bump, you'll fly off. And I'm like, they're flying. Which I mean, I
They're
guess like
flying.
air
Yeah.
turbulence is a thing, sort of. But like, I was like, yeah, as if they're like driving or something. So that's cool.
And
He
then could
knows that.
fly.
Yeah, that's the other
Anyways.
thing. Well, he could
Well,
glide down safely and
he
be
can
good.
glide. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, so he's like stressed about needing to learn the other elements, and
Hmm.
Katara offers to teach him what she knows of waterbending, which is great. And so they
Hmm.
have to find some water, obviously, for them to practice in. And so they find the gorgeous waterfall, which is just an amazing spot for them to like be hanging out at.
It is a
And so
really
they
cute
do that.
spot. I love that they find that.
Yeah, it's great. It's just again the settings that they have for the show consistently are
Yes.
just like
And they're
they're
so
so nice to
beautifully
look at.
paint. They're I think most of them are painted.
A
I've
lot
seen
of
some
them
that I'm
are.
like, that's watercolor, definitely, but it's so
Hmm.
gorgeous. I'm like, I want to live in that. I want
Right?
to
Like
hang out there with some kalimba music
I want to
playing.
visit that waterfall. Come on.
Yeah,
I could
like,
camp out. And
it's so
then I love the
gorgeous.
bit where Sokka's like, I'm supposed to just hang out while y'all are practicing, whatever. And they're like, well, you can clean Appa. And so he does. And like, that's just a really cool, like, cute moment between them because he, like, does clean Appa. And it's
He
funny.
does. And I do love when he says, like, I'm supposed to do this. And they're like, yeah. And he just goes,
Oh, yeah.
okay.
Yeah. He's like,
I just, his
Sure.
line delivery, Jack DeSena's line delivery is so perfect.
No, he
It's so
knows it.
perfect for the character. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
He's a great
Um,
actor.
so we get that established as for what the
Mhm.
gang is going to be like doing and focusing on, and then we cut to Zuko, who's practicing on the deck, and the ship abruptly changes course, and he gets pissed. He's so mad about it, which I think is so funny. He's just so impatient and like, who the hell ordered this? And so it's Iroh who ordered them to change course because he needs his White Lotus tile, which I love that he's like, I need
Yeah.
this for my unusual strategy. Like, you want to get it, and I'm like, I know what your unusual strategy is.
Yeah.
We'll get there
Which
eventually.
comes back later. It's
Yeah,
way
which
more
again, and
important than you think.
it's funny because if you don't know, you can read it as him just like talking about a strategy in
Being
the game and like being the
yeah.
quirky, like odd Uncle Iroh that he is throughout the series, which is great. And then, but like it also has the deeper meaning too, which is awesome.
Yeah.
And Zuko just
It's a
getting
great little
furious.
touchback, yeah.
Yeah, and he breathes fire out of his mouth, which is wild.
I
It's the
think I
first
wrote in
time
my
that
comments, I was like, hot.
yeah, it's the first time that we see that.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild to see.
Because we will
So we
see
get
Iroh do that later, but it's cool
yes,
to see it as just an act of expressing his emotions.
Yeah, it's just pure rage. He's like just
Yeah.
screams fire. Like, okay, yeah, that's pretty
Like, damn,
intimidating.
okay. Moody
um,
teenager.
so we go back to Katara teaching Aang and her consistently being like, it's okay if you don't pick this up, right? Like it took me however long, like it'll be fine, don't worry. And Aang just completely outpaces her as far as the learning curve. Like he does
So,
everything instantly and way better and way faster, and she gets real mad about it. She
yeah.
is not happy. She's so visibly annoyed. Like,
And this is like a good start of Katara's lesson for like the next 2 episodes about her
yeah.
pride getting hurt and her jealousy and her
And
learning how to
the
deal with that.
yeah, and
Mhm.
like accepting those things and being okay with that. It's great. And then Aang summons the giant wave that takes out Sokka and Appa and all of their supplies. And so again, it's like a funny comedic bit that lands, but then also propels them forward because now they need more supplies.
Now they
It's
need more
funny.
supplies.
They're just constantly are needing supplies, and so that's why they end up in villages. Like that's just
That's
a
really most of the
recurring.
plot for the
Like
first
that's
couple episodes. They just keep needing more supplies.
Yeah, which I
It's a
mean
great out.
works and makes sense. You're like, oh, I mean, yeah, they do need to like eat and stuff. So okay. Um, it's just funny. And so they have to go replace their stuff. And so they go to a local market, which is cool. Um, there's so many characters here, which we'll get
Yeah.
into a lot of the background characters later on in the show, in this
Yeah,
episode.
there's some really
Um,
fun ones here. Great designs. It's really interesting to see a lot of them. I was like, oh, I wonder what the drawing process is like for these. I wonder if any of them were old sketches, maybe for different characters
mhm.
that they recycled. But it's pretty cool because I know they do that in some future episodes where they'd be like,
Yeah.
oh, this character in the background was actually a design for this character
Yeah.
originally. So,
It's just such a nice variety of people, which is cool to
mhm.
see. And so they're going through trying to find stuff, and they are low on funds. And Aang spends one of their copper coins on a bison whistle, which is important for later.
Mhm.
But he like blows it, and nothing happens. And they're like, "We can't even hear this. Like, why did you waste the money?" And Katara takes the rest of the money away from him, which is
I
a
love
really
she
funny
says,
bit.
she's like, no offense, Aang, but I'll be holding the money for now. Like, I like
Which
the way she
also
says that.
I think it's funny that Aang was the one holding the money in the first place. I mean, I guess if Boomy gave it to him, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
true.
But also, still, he's 12. Come
Like the
on.
12-year-old boy. Yeah,
Yeah, he should not be the one holding that.
not at
Um,
all.
and so then we get them pulled to Aang pulled to the side really because he gets
Mhm.
interested in the pirate who's like Earth Nation, Fire Nation, Water Nation, as long as your bargains are your inclination, which is such a great like
It's so
line.
funny.
It works really well. Like I genuinely laughed at that again. And
I was like,
so
that's good. That's a good one. He got me. I'll go in there.
yeah, and
He
then
got me.
I forget exactly how he phrases it, but he's like he says curios because he doesn't say
Oh, yeah.
curious in the like normal way, and he like says it, and Aang's like, "What is that?" And he's like, "I don't know actually, but like come check it out."
Yeah, he's like, I don't
Which
know, but let's go find out together.
yeah, and so I love that he's just
He's a
essentially running a like
salesman.
cabinet of curiosities shop, like he's just got one like that type of thing. Um,
Oh,
so
also,
that's
fun fact that pirate is voiced by one of the creators, Brian Konietzko.
yeah, which is
So,
so cool.
which is so cool. He gets his not. It's not even a little cameo. Like he's in a
It's a
majority of
pretty
this episode. It's a big
yeah,
cameo.
and he's got a ton of lines. Like he's a main side character in this episode.
Yeah.
Um, so that's cool. I love also like they get in there and there's all the weird stuff.
I love this
And
shop. It's very
yeah, the
cool.
shop is so cool and all the things that they see. And I love the main pirate captain. He reminds me instantly of Barbaso or Barbosa from the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Oh,
Um,
yes.
the captain with
Yes.
the parrot. I mean, like he's a
Immediate. Like
stereotypical
he's
like
yeah,
pirate with
typical
the
pirate.
parrot on his
Yeah.
shoulder, but like that was just immediately who I thought of. I was like, oh, it's him.
And what
Um,
is the parrot? It's like a reptile parrot, I've heard.
it's a reptile parrot, which is a crazy combination.
So,
He
but
just
like
looks
what reptile? Is
he
it
looks
like
kind of like a like not
is it
an
like a
like a bearded dragon or something. Are
dragon
those
maybe?
small? Because he's not
A
an
lizard?
iguana. He like
Yeah.
his limbs kind of look like it, but he's got the like face fin looking things. I
Yeah.
don't know
But
what
his screech
I'm.
sounds like a hawk. So
Yeah. Anyway, he's a very cool combination,
very
like
cool.
combo
Yeah.
animal. Love to see him. And so he wants Momo, and Aang's like,
hmm
nope, he's not for
Not
sale.
for sale.
And Katara finds the water bending scroll, And along the way, they all like Sokka realizes that they're pirates, and that triggers Aang being like, oh, I can haggle with these guys. And I love that he just like turns on his pirate voice. It's like,
How about
oh, you,
one copper penny? How about
yeah.
two copper pennies?
And he's just
So
like,
good.
it's more annoying the more you do this, kid. Actually, like we don't
Yeah. He's
know.
saying
Get
like
out.
he's like I.
Yeah, I love. I put down where is it? He goes, I we be casting off now whenever they
I may be
leave.
casting off now.
It's just so funny. So they go to leave,
Such a good
and
bit.
then Katara, is like, oh, we should get out of here. And they're all kind of like confused. And it's because they get outside, and then the pirates are like, hey, wait a second. And it's because we find out whenever they get back to the camp, but Katara had
Mhm.
stolen that scroll. Like, she was like, I'll take this.
Girl.
And so, yeah, it's not. I mean, we could have cool chase sequence between all of them because, like, we get the
Yeah.
pirates like coming out, and there's way more pirates that like pour out of the ship after
Yeah,
that.
way more. They all, and we get a good panorama of them, which we'll talk about more
Mhm.
later, and like each individual one and their different weapons, their different clothing. And we see that they're all clothed in stolen, like different stolen items from different nations. They're all,
They're like a
most people we've
mishmash of
seen are all the
things.
same. Yeah, they're all a mismatch of all the colors and of all the
It's cool.
nations, which I think is so
It's
cool. Hey, Aspect listener, enjoying the show?
Then be sure to subscribe here on The Aspect so you never miss an episode.
And check out more episodes and clips on our playlist here.
Thanks so much for watching, and
Lameo Hotman.